Mhm.
Hello, everyone. My name is John Mako. I'm the secretary for the branch of the Brookhaven NAACP. And welcome to our YouTube channel. And we are here today because it is MLK Day, and I'm here to present our branch president, Dr. Georgette Greer-Key. Dr. Key, please take it
Good
away.
afternoon, everyone. How are you? Thank you so much for being here. Today, on this day, we commemorate the life and legacy of the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Today is a day that we are on. We are not off. We are not using this day to celebrate and or go shopping. Today is a day of service. Today is a day that we rededicate ourselves to the memory and legacy for life, the pursuit of happiness and justice. And with that, we want to remember what his life stood for and the fact that he paid the ultimate price. And that was his life, the assassination of his life. And with the assassination of his life, we don't want to allow the pundits and hypocrites to take it for granted, because we know that he said an injustice here is an injustice everywhere. And at the present time, our very democracy is at stake. And our democracy is at stake when we know suffrage and the right to vote is being ripped from our hands, when our ancestors and the many marches and the churchgoers and the lay people that fought for us to have a right to vote, which is a right, is being taken away from us by legislation and by law. So I would like for you to make a commitment to make sure that this is at the forefront of your mind today, and that we do not just forget about the Voting Rights Act, that we have a right to live prosperous, make sure that we have prosperous lives, that we have a life that we can live where we have access to education, access to housing that is adequate. And those are the things that we want to stand for. And so here at the Brookhaven Town NAACP, we focus on our game changers that include economics, that include health, that include making sure that our children have access to a good public education. And with that, that they have access to technology, and that we know, unfortunately, in this environment of pandemic, that we've had to switch to teleeducation that has not worked out great because we don't have access to the technology and the infrastructure that we need to have teleeducation or telemedicine. So we have work to do. The struggle is still here. How far have we come when we think of the Brown versus Board of Education, and many of our communities are still segregated? How far have we come when we still have voting issues that are being turned back? The 1950s are not too far away. They're still in our rearview mirror, but they're ever before us. So today is a day not of celebration, but a day to commemorate his life, but also renew who you are. Renew who your ancestors are. Let us not take in vain the images that we see. Let us not take in vain the stories that our ancestors have told us, and not just think it's a story that's in the book, because if we do not learn our history, which is another fight that we know about, the CRT that's being forced, this is not a history that we can't tell because it happened to us. If we don't remember our history, we're doomed to repeat it. And it seems very present that we're repeating the history that we fought so hard to get rid of. So with that, I think one of the things that we remember is the images that you see before us. We've had this fight before. So let us not forget and be ever present and press forward. We're continuing the fight, onward and upward. John?
Yes. And among the many things that Martin Luther King fought hard for was voting rights And so one of the thing we're going to feature today in our discussion about Martin Luther King and Martin Luther King Day and that recommitment is that having a plan of action for voting. That's so many people, suffered and even gave lives for us to have equality of voting, and it's under attack even now. So let's not sit back, but let's lean in and come up with a voting plan of action for yourself, and talk to others and make sure they have their voting plan of action. For example, confirm your voter registration. And if you need to confirm your voter registration, you can go to the New York State Board of Elections, on the www.elections.newyork.gov, and you will have access to not only information about voter registration forms, but to find out if you are in fact registered to vote. Confirm your registration right here on the New York State Board of Elections webpage. Fill out the form, search, and you can find out if you're registered, or if someone needs to know if they're registered. You can help someone else find this information at voterlookup.elections.gov from the New York State Board of Elections. Be sure of your polling location. In the time of COVID particularly, polling places have sometimes been changed because certain facilities didn't have enough space for social distancing or what have you. So before an election occurs, be sure of your polling location, and you can do that at the Suffolk County Board of Elections, suffolkcountyny.gov/departmentsBOE. These links are going to be in the video description below. We're going to post these links for your reference. Come back later. You'll find all of these links in the video description. At the Suffolk County Board of Elections webpage, we have their contact information, their phone number, and notice of special meetings, and including a section on how to vote in the 2021 elections. They put it right on the Suffolk County Board of Elections webpage. And they'll tell you the dates on primary day, June 2020. This is, of course, last year's information because we haven't had an election yet this year. But they have the calendar and links to the different election results. And to find your polling location, you can simply look up voter registration and polling place right on the Suffolk County Board of Elections webpage. So there's that, and also, once you've confirmed that you're eligible to vote and that you know where your polling location is, we encourage you to go that extra mile and become a poll worker or poll watcher. The information on how to become a poll worker is also on the New York State Board of Elections website. Become a poll worker. And they put it right there. The right to vote is one of our nation's oldest and most important entitlements. And with this right comes responsibility. So we can improve our voting outcomes by taking the responsibility to work at voting.
And this is a paid position. Mm-hmm. This is a paid position, so it's a very important part of this is paid. So let's just say that.
And they have it right there on that website as well. Will you be paid? Yes. Poll workers get paid for training and each day they work. So all of that information is available. It's out there. It's at the New York State Board of Elections webpage. Links are on the Suffolk County Board of Elections webpage.
And we have two members of our branch that have been doing this for several years. So you can also reach out to us and we will have them get in contact with you. And I have been trained over the years and I have done it for several years previously as well. So that's a really great thing. So we have done that as well. But also, NAACP members and trained members, we have independent poll watchers that are certified through our branch in NAACP who are not paid. And we are there as well as watching to make sure that things are fair and above board, just to make sure that there is no intimidation, just to make sure that the rules are following, that there is no, things going on outside the polling place, that there are no literature being given outside and different things like that. So there are very different ways that you can be involved in making sure that your voting rights are fully being used and that you feel safe voting, because we know in the past that things have happened.
And being a poll worker or a poll watcher, importantly, preserves the voting rights of others. If you are organized and you are registered and you know where your polling place is, and you have taken that responsibility, then take that next step and preserve the voting rights of others by becoming a poll worker or a poll watcher. And poll watching, this is not something to dive into on the day. You don't say, I'm going to go become a poll watcher, because you need to be trained and certified. So when you go to a polling station as a poll watcher, you have your certification. You can show them to show that you are an official poll watcher, and they will give you access. Without that training and certification, you are not a poll watcher.
Yes.
So, in this day, remembering Martin Luther King and the responsibilities that come with the privileges of voting and being being involved in civil rights, we are encouraging you to reach out to others, to be that voice that helps preserve the right to vote for everyone.
Yes. And we encourage you to use your voice in your settings, in your community. If you are in a church, in a senior center, if you have youth, if you view this video, we want you to talk to your community and understand that, there are people that could not vote. There were things that happened in the past where there were literacy tests, where there were, people counting jelly beans. Yeah, all these different things that happen, but we have that right today. There are people that didn't have the rights that we do, still in this community. So we want you to use your ability to actually get out the vote, talk to people, but have a plan. We want to encourage you that this election is happening. We want to make sure that we're there, and not just here. We want you to vote in every election. Every election is important because our community matters. If it's the school board, if it's the library board, we need to vote, because this is where decisions are made. Not just presidential elections, but the local elections matter as well. This is our right, and that is citizenship. If you think about the story of the struggle of our people, that's what we have fought for since the inception. The inception of our story and our struggle is to achieve full citizenship, and the suffrage is citizenship. So the legacy continues. It's the struggle, but we're going to make sure that we continue on that way. But not only just that, we want to continue the legacy of continuing to empower us in all avenues. That includes economic attainment, to not have discrimination in any way of life. So that is liberty, that is economic, that is social. So that means in our jobs, in our workplace, we want to get rid of discrimination wherever it may be. we want to eradicate it. So with that, we know that we have to take it to the ballot box. We know that we have to take it to the schoolhouse. We know that the only way that we can do that is to empower ourselves, and we need you to do that. And so today is the launch of our YouTube page. I thank you so much. I am Dr. Georgette Greer-Key, and I'm the president of the NAACP Brookhaven Town chapter. And I thank my secretary, Mr. John Mako. He is extraordinary, and he was featured at his hospital. So hopefully you can go to our Facebook page and see that. We're so very proud of him and all the work that he does for us, as well as our executive committee. If you go to our Facebook page, you'll be able to see all the work that they are doing. We are just starting off our new 2022 year, and we are excited for our Black History program that is coming up. You'll be able to see the announcement there. We have a whole bunch of things that is going on this year, including our AXO and our housing departments that are coming up. So we are ready to hit the year going, and we are offering you all the assistance that we can. If you are in need of assistance, please reach out to us. And if you have not joined this chapter, we encourage you to do so. There's plenty of room for you to do work with us. And we need all hands possible, because, as I said, the struggle is not over. Brookhaven Town is very large. And as you know, we are continuing the fight with economic injustice. And